arrows, you know, stay on top lane to get experience and nothing else. It's less than ideal in a 1v1 matchup.
Yeah, mid lane there, they actually had the Mirana and the Earth Spirit in the trees, and this high ground ward planted by Chuan earlier with a bit of a false
3 heroes that she definitely did not see smoke break. It was must have been fogged out by a tree angle or something like that. So Newbee now chalking up 3 kills in total that Chuan has had a significant hand in, and looks like they're going to use the rest of this Enchanted army to start beating down this top tier 1 Barra even to get in on the action here. If they can get the last hit to him, get a faster Blink Dagger, that'll actually be some pretty big game. But bottom line, it's going to be a top lane tier 1 to fall, whereas the off lane on the other end, Slaughter's off lane tower, still almost perfectly healthy. Hal's going to get tagged with an arrow, but luckily for him, there's absolutely no follow-up, so he's just going to take a short reprieve and start beating down this tower afterwards. It's going to be a pretty nice victory here for Newbee, and it's all about that race for the Blink Dagger, which Moo is now going to really start on. He already has 1,000 gold.
Yeah, Newbee looking good here early on, and Moo going to be able to farm up the jungle for the next little bit, give a mid lane space to Kaka to pick of death at a faster clip. And yeah, there's really no answer for this top lane. Mirana is just not a hero that can deal with waves pushing into her face, especially with some big creeps on top of that from Chuan. So it does feel like for the most part DuoBao are a little bit lacking in wave clear if their axe is not in the front lines, and in that sense generally you would expect their whole lineup to be around their bot lane. Adong, he's going to get amped up, and KP running forward, but not all that much intel. No ward in the jungle there for him, no Chuan nearby, so not willing to dive forward as he is getting a pretty decent amount out of the lane, sitting on 1,400 gold. Doesn't want to be dying at this point in the game on the way to his blink.
Blink Daggers looking like they're going to be, this is the big item for DuoBao, that they're going to have an advantage over Newbee for another minute and a half. It's a narrow timing for sure, but yeah, hey, it's better than nothing. Right now, they are much more powerful than the Newbee squad. Although the axe is going to get smoked up, not going into the fountain just yet, is now going to do so. Probably TP bottom lane where they know if there's a target. TP top is going to be kind of useless because Hao's so far away. This Slardar is the one to go for. Got 1,800 gold, so this is the perfect time to go for it. And it looks like Ron is also going to Moonlight Shadow. Tornado is out there. They have a Wild Wing in the area, but this is double in. Is going to get Blink called. No, Blink Boulder Crush. Boulder Smash, and now the Sunstrike and the arrow. This is going to be a dead Slaughter for sure. Loses his head to the axe. So that is the gank that they were looking for, and it happened perfectly. But either way, it only happened on one hero, so Moo has his Blink Dagger now, and we'll probably look to do exactly what the axe just did.
Yeah, the axe has a bit more uptime on the usage of his Blink Dagger, but now revealed to Newbee, and with all the vision provided to them by Chuan's rotations as well as Kaka, they should be a little bit better equipped to deal with this axe coming forward and try to be able to dictate the tempo themselves. I feel like for the most part, if they hold TPs, Hao wasn't holding one there, and if there was a larger scale engagement, that may have hurt Newbee. But if they hold TPs, I feel like the turn potential, at least at this early phase, is very strong from them. Fu Sheng, he really only going to be able to commit a Starfall to these fights. The arrow is a little less reliable, and you know the Invoker is going to be doing a decent amount of damage, but he is going to be the key lasso target in most of these engagements. So
want them on first though. Blink Lasso is going to grab her. Hao's got an Omni Slash, probably enough right click damage to bring her down without it though, and then he'll do just that. In the meantime, Axe, he's going to try to jump in over towards the mid, but that was unsuccessful. Ultimately, just a little bit of battle hunger being applied towards Newbee. He had a smoke up, and he was looking for that Lion. Almost had a good angle, but Lion Kaka playing things just in the edge of the range of the Blink Dagger, and Axe didn't jump in. So Batrider showing off his own blink, and space created perhaps for the Slaughter to get his own blink. Not quite yet. Sunstrike gonna land with the Calling Blade. Oh, the Stick Charge is gonna save him. Now the sprint out. Looks like the Slaughter this time is gonna live. Magic Wand. Pretty good, or Magic Stick rather, pretty good.
Not even the
like get the Slaughter out of there, which will preserve his Blink Dagger timing, because dying again, that would have been another minute and a half put on the clock before Slaughter is able to get fully active in this game, but that's going to be coming up very shortly. And Slaughter, much like the Axe, has almost 100% uptime with his Blink Dagger efficiency.
Yeah, definitely so. So Newbee will be able to really up the tempo once he picks that up, and as you said, major would have been major consequences to dropping their bottom lane, and they are a little bit lacking in terms of the information provided to them on the southern hemisphere of the map. They've not occupied this west side. They're looking to take out this tier 2, and recognizing not only that they need to secure House Farm because he's by far and away the hardest carry in the game, but also that there isn't much potential really for DuoBao to be defending towers, so they'll take the most low-hanging fruits of the towers on the map in this off lane and kind of assume this up with how they're going to look towards the mid lane here. The scan actually came out and did give them information as to the position of most of these DuoBao heroes, but Kaka will plant that third ward here, and now this kind of entire hemisphere of the map can be occupied from Newbee. They're going to smoke, look down, Boulder Smash will connect onto Kaka, and that's pretty much going to deter Newbee from going forward. They only see the 2 heroes though, so DuoBao will be able to assemble up as a 5-man. They'll pop the Moonlight Shadow. And observers, yeah, down from Kaka. So they do come in. Kaka insta-hex, and the lasso comes out as a free cap from Kaka there. Kara gonna come through underneath the tower. Clean kill on the axe, and that's their initiation. Now they have the 5 seconds until Blink on the starter, 1 second until Blink from Move. They'll pincer and Azon, crush him up, bring him down. Fusheng trying to get away here. Geomagnetic Grip will keep Caden back at the moment. It's still 2 clean kills going the way of Newbee. They hold their finger, they hold the Omni Slash as well, and yeah, beautifully be baited in the mid lane, as you were touching upon right before the engagement began.
Sentries and observer wards everywhere, so Kaka, he knew that enemies were going in. Of course, DuoBao had no idea that they were spotted, so you see a hero in a creep wave, regardless of who it is, you blink and call them, but Kaka just had that hex queued up, and Axe blinked right into his doom, and Newbee chased forward for more. The lasso, as you said, is down, but still, they put so much in these fights, and then they'll just be able to take down this mid-1 tower. Even a little bit of a misstep earlier, just by how that started up on this hillside area. It seemed like Lions could go in, but Juggernaut did it, so they both like kind of shuffled around, and one of them went down the low ground, and it was a little bit of a blunder there, but ultimately the end result really good for Newbee. They also take care of that Mirana ultimate, which has the longest game, but it's going to be quite a lot of breathing room here for Newbee, where they don't have to worry about staying under sentry wards. They know that there's no Moonlight Shadow incoming, and therefore farm all the more comfortably just in the lanes proper, like what Kaka's doing right now. He's got 1,400 gold, so his Blink Dagger might be coming up next. Turns out Blink Dagger is a really good item in Dota. You should write that one down, guys. So yeah, Newbee are gonna have seems like 3 blinkers soon enough, and all 3 of whom can initiate with the best of them. Tower will even be denied here by Enchantress, and DuoBao, they really want to go in here. The target is Moo. They're not making a jump in just yet. Moo is actually going to back off, so DuoBao commit heroes in the mid lane for and get tower denied from them. That sucks.
Yeah, they had this Radiant Ward on the high ground scouting, Moo coming in with an Arcane Rune, and obviously from in that sense, he is going to want to be able to use the lasso and take advantage of that smaller cooldown, but for that reason, DuoBao able to back themselves out. They do, however, as you mentioned, lose the last hit and the extra gold on the tower, which is going to be certainly a little bit hurtful economy-wise for them, and 2 tier 1s are moved from the map on their side. Newbee still holding 2 and looking to pressure this 3rd now. They are going to scout out Chuan in the Radiant jungle, but DuoBao is spending a lot of time together, and kind of the only core they have keeping up farm is this Invoker. Certainly he can do a lot in these team fights if they're able to find the initiation, but they have creeps to scout. They've been extremely diligent with wards, and they have the Firefly advantage for the most part as well on Newbee. So when this 3rd Blink Dagger comes out for Kaka, as you were mentioning on the Lion, it feels like the game is only going to get worse for DuoBao's side, trying to find ways into these engagements.
They're looking at Kaka right now. Whole bunch of heroes up on top. Axis uses Blink Dagger like once to get a kill, then like twice total to act as a pressure hero. He's now going to get spotted and abandoned by his ally. That means Moo's going to come right in, grab him, bring him into Kaka. They have enough spell damage to kill him off. They have a True Sight though. A little finger death. They don't need any True Sight. Axe is going to fall to these maybe even low damage magic heroes from the Newbee squad. Meantime, the rest of the Newbee heroes trying to go for Roche. Sentry's going to see them coming in with the Moonlight Shadow. So How's just going to spin away. They did some damage to Roche, brought him down to half HP, but not enough for DuoBao to steal at this point. and Newbee will be able to reinforce with the rest of their heroes and choose to fight or continue this Roche. I mean, they still have the Omnislash, they still have the Blink Crush.
Yeah.
Their ability to fight is still very high, whereas without the Axe, DuoBao have no initiator.
Yeah, Axe off the field is definitely attractive for Newbee with the last one nearby, though. They'll play it safe now. They definitely have an advantage at this point, and they do scale better overall. It feels as a lineup, especially with all the farm they've been able to find on their supports relative to the counterparts on the Radiant side. Chuan been able to retreat into the jungles, pick the Dragonlance. We talked about the Blink, which is now complete on Kaka, and with those items available, the further skirmishes are only going to be more and more appealing for Newbee's side. So I think it's a wise decision from them to back off, even though they had the potential to kill off the Roche there. DuoBao fight very well in a choke with their Spirit, with the Invoker, and even to some extent with the Mirana. So Newbee kind of just understanding they have an advantage. There's no real rush to take this Roche. It's not like they're a Drow lineup, and they'll back out live like the other day.
How's Juggernaut build is going to play into this kind of slow and steady pace. So they're going to find the Oracle Blink Crush after the spike. World packets, not going to let me see what happens exactly, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows exactly what happened there. You just Blink Crush him, you spike him, and you start spearing him in the face. It's only an Oracle with no survivability at all as far as either are concerned. Not even enough time to cast anything on himself, so a pretty easy snipe there from Newbee, just locking the enemies out of the jungle. But the Juggernaut's gone for a little bit of a more passive farm to it. Even build 1 point magic. That's about it. Going for feeling more in the bush, more so for that wide. His damage is mostly just gonna come from this right build. So how to take a little bit of the Juggernaut build and all from DuoBao. He left just fine here. Roshan either way is gonna fall. It's gonna be up a double life to be in. I'm just gonna reconnect right now before they push.
American internet, man. For some reason I've been smooth all day. This rarely happens, so I'm gonna live it up while I can. I find that if I stream 2 or 3 series, that near the latter end, get a perfect world will get a bit wonky, but either way, as you mentioned, a little bit of a lull in the action. DuoBao not looking to fight into the Aegis, and Newbee able to pick that up. Will reassemble and deal with their lanes. They'll finish off some items here. Boots of Travel picked up by Moo, so he'll be able to do exactly that, deal with the lanes and join the fray. Later, they've picked up the full SNY on How in base. That'll be delivered out here shortly, so really starting to hit this mid-game critical mass. We talked about Dragonlance a moment ago onto Chuan, and yeah, the Invoker will be able to push in top lane with his Force Spirits, but just drums, bots, Midas for him at the moment. Not really anywhere near the full Aghanim Scepter. Just has the 1 point booster on him, and is going to be the main source of DuoBao's damage in the aside from the Axe. So DuoBao, they are going to need to find a very big initiation and allow this Invoker to combo up multiple heroes, especially with the Aegis in hand for Newbee, in order for the fights to go well for them thereafter.
Mirana is almost at her Aghanim Scepter, but this was the first pick for DuoBao. Getting first pick offlane Mirana is not impressive at all. I mean, if you're going to first pick the hero, you have to have some sort of plan for her, and it just seems like for DuoBao, they ended up with the Mirana. It's not like they really picked their draft around the Mirana, and that is concerning. Even with this Aghanim Scepter up, like, yeah, her damage will increase by quite a bit, but Newbee are already starting to get to the stage where they can afford, even on these soft heroes, to bulk up a little bit. Like, even, just look at the Enchantress. Once you more about this point, they're going to jump in, crush the Invoker, Rainbow TPs, all coming in, spike the land to the Axe, which means the call is going to be nullified. Now the pullback onto the Invoker is in tower range, call comes on himself, not going to die yet, but he will pop afterwards. Moonlight Shadow is going to help them disengage. The amplified damage is already up on the Axe, so they see him clear as day, and he's not going to get away from this one. KP looking for the Earth Spirit, won't crush him, but the Juggernaut will crush the Axe. Towards top, Newbee. They once again interrupt the Axe's initiation, and Kaka, I don't really know how intentional that was, but yeah, Spike gonna make sure that fight goes pretty much perfectly according to plan, and that is going to be what sets off this push here for Newbee.
Newbee were very well prepared for that. I want to say it was purely anticipated. They run in with Kaipi's Blink Crush, and he sprints forward and away from the Invoker, anticipating some form of counter initiation, whether it was the Axe or not. So there to follow up with the impale, you know, definitely feels like if it was anticipated, then could have been a bit of fortune as well, but just able to disjoint that axe initiation, and we know how important that is for DuoBao. They have a lot of heroes who are control oriented, and if they're not able to get that up, and especially if the Invoker is taken out of the fight early, they really have no chance in these fights. They just don't have any damage left. So once again, Newbee with a bit of the vision advantage. Like even this work for the Radiant in the forest doesn't give them all that much, and the Firefly pop from move just gives them that extra edge in most of these fights. So Pablo, as you mentioned,
going in before the smash right on his face. Oh, they definitely saw him. And Newbee probably do know that there's an observer in the air. Essentially, they placed miss. So Bat Rider's gonna fly into his death because he was spotted literally the entire time. How he's just gonna spin to make sure he takes his tower easily. He'll grab that one. It's a pretty expensive loss in the Bat Rider, second most hero in the game right now, or I guess third. Invoker overtakes him by 20 gold, but yeah, it's a really big hero to kind of just throw away there. Newbee trying to go for a all-in kind of alpha strike play by grabbing someone like an axe and dragging him out. They will probably get to tier 3 as well, but just get punished because of lack of true sight vision. But that being said, they still have their opportunities because they're looking at the Invoker top.
Fingers.
This is a support line and a quote-unquote support enchantress. Yet still, I think they have more than enough to kill off this Invoker as long as they don't miss the Hex. There's the Spike. Hex is not going to miss here. They are going to Moonlight Shadow, but there's dust here. Double dust, in fact. He's going to get into the trees. Spear is still being chucked out. Deafening Blast and TP out. Spike, there's no more Spike. There's no Enchantress spells here either from creeps. So the Invoker will get away, albeit barely, but that's a play where Newbee expend pretty much nothing. They forced out, once again, a Moonlight Shadow defensively. Shin Q, he's going to teleport in now towards the top lane. He caught Moose. Sun's going to catch onto as well, and they'll drop the Bat Rider for the second time now. The Lion is still here, still got the Finger of Death. Chuan in the corner is untouchable, should keep him safe. Even versus the double stars. Hal's now going to arrive. Blink forward. He's got the Omnibuster, he doesn't even need it. He'll just chop him down. In the meantime, the Lion is soloing GQ. Is going to lose mana for the Finger of Death, but it doesn't matter because KP is going to finish off the kill on the axe. If they get to the Oracle, if the Oracle is actually able to teleport out there. But Newbee, they lose their Bat Rider twice in as many minutes. Ooh, Kaka almost getting hit with the Sunstrike. But still they take a numerically good trade. And Bat Rider will be up soon. DuoBao, they will again struggle to kill off any of these Newbee heroes, and we're seeing that problem rise. Chuan is getting into that very hard-hitting Enchantress that we, kind of from time to time see. He is also bulky as all hell, with an Ogre Club still in his stash to make him even tankier.
And in general, you'd feel like they have ways to deal with the Enchantress as they're not very right-click oriented as a lineup, but DuoBao there just getting picked apart. Someone get Kaka some arcane boots. That's two kills in a row that he could have secured with the Finger, the Invoker being the first that he was just short on mana in order to do so. The Invoker, it was a level 2 Finger. He was sitting at like 500 HP, 490-ish HP, so certainly would have been a kill for Kaka there. But either way, they still take a great engagement in the top lane with Hal rotating in and utilizing that to take out the Mirana there in the front lines. And Newbee feels like they're just at a power peak right now, and DuoBao cannot really compete with them, specifically with the Juggernaut. I mean, Hao is up in this bottom lane all by his lonesome. The Radiant, they briefly scout 2 heroes behind him, but they still just can't initiate on him. Blink, phased away most often than not, can get him to blink out, and then when the re-engage comes through, the Bat Rider having the boots travel and the Bardar being as mobile as he is across the map, DuoBao cannot be caught out of position. They really need to take chances at defending high ground here.
Hal's even got a Mjolnir coming up, which I don't even think is a really great item in this particular game up against what DuoBao have, but I'm not going to disagree because Mjolnir is like the best item in the game, man. It's also just an expensive item, so having that expensive item with an impact, they're going to find KP jungling. Sunstrike is there, and all the dragons going to get the kill. Man, DuoBao just can't catch a break. Find a super greedy jungling Slardar, roll in, execute perfectly, and still don't get the kill. Feels pretty bad. Right now, Newbee, they're just chilling, waiting for this Mjolnir to be completed on the Juggernaut. Any other items coming out soon? And they have a gem on the Bat Rider, so soon they're going to be taking control of the map. But Roshan is going to be the next big point here. Unfortunately, my clock is glitched out. It's disappeared, so I don't know when that's going to be up. But then again, neither do Newbee, so they're going to have to play around this just by constantly hanging around here. And for DuoBao, they would love to make an attempt to push out of their base, try to contest this Roche. But if they fail to get their initiation, if Axe gets stunned up beforehand, he's unable to blink call 2 or 3 heroes, and that might just be the game.
I mean, yeah, I think even if this fight goes as poorly as it possibly can for Newbee, in the sense that DuoBao get a good initiation off, I think Hao still just tears through him. With this Blink Dagger, he's, you know, unless he has an Aegis, unlikely to be up in the front. And if he does have an Aegis, DuoBao don't have enough to kill him off this time. So it's
oh,
yeah, they find you and fingered up, brought down. Arrow will come through and connect onto Kai P, but no follow-up there. So Newbee with a pretty easy and clean kill. This will open up the doors for Roche for them, and thereafter they'll look to being pretty systematic play thus far from Newbee. And that first pick, Rat Rider, has seemed, you know, a bit more influential than this Mirana. Roche gonna spawn now, and Newbee, unfortunately, were just in the pit a moment ago, unable to scout it, but they should be aware of that relatively.
They're going to have an angle to jump in towards Hao, towards top lane. They're going to silence him. Oh, but everything else misses. No kick from the Earth Spirit. They just let Hao walk away, and now they might actually get put into a corner here. Earth Spirit has a TP out. He'll use that immediately, and there are no stuns incoming, so he will survive. Newbee are going to assemble the troops up towards top lane. Keep looking for these heroes, but there's nothing to find there. I feel like even if they land all those spells, 2,000 health Juggernaut is just not burstable or not really easily killable by the noob squad with these heroes that they have. You know, maybe if Invoker had a couple more levels in, but yeah, it just seemed like it was going to be a hard sell. Oh, they're going to find the Juggernaut though now. With the Blade Mail turning a hell lot of damage. Sunstrike is there as well, and Juggernaut to fall. Giving up a dominating spree to the Axe. Dawn is not being claimed just yet for Newbee, so DuoBao have found themselves quite a few very nice picks while Newbee are waiting for this double life. But now that the Roshan is respawned, now that Newbee do know about it, they're probably going to make a play for it soon. Although Fusheng, they know that the Mirana's in the air. Oh yeah, the Kaka hit by a Starstorm. He's going to take a hook and arrow. Sunstrike is there with the Fortune, will grab the kill. And now Mirana's going to blink up towards the north, deep into the trees. Will get out of Kaka, getting sniped out by the Mirana. Is going to get DuoBao another nice pickoff right now. And Newbee, they're just getting a little bit of farm here and there. They're actively not pushing towards DuoBao, so DuoBao are actually getting a pretty nice shot at a little bit more map control, some more pickoffs. Who knows, maybe that next big item is going to swing the fight.
Yeah, tough to say that they're able to find a window back into this game. Certainly a couple of very nice pickoffs, and you know, Blade Mail's an item right now.
They got Twan.
Jin Q up towards the top lane. Sunstrike will be there. They still have this advantage though. The Overclub and the Point Booster. She'll be able to get the swiftness off, and now comes the counter aggression. Her Spirit going to be dropped easily. Jin Q all barely keeping out on the high ground. The Force Staff up from KP will be moments too late. But that'll be a Roshan essentially for Newbee with the Earth Spirit off the board. And I was just going to mention, you know, Axe sitting on 10k net worth, Hao sitting on 21k. Easily solo killed by the Axe path has net worth. But anyways, Rose, yeah, it's an item. Rose should be easy pickings here for Newbee. There's a potential for a kill bottom lane though. Fusheng will get the double starfall off onto Nuba Kaka. He's now rotated in with the Firefly Vision. They'll find out Fusheng. Be an easy kill. Move playing safely as well. Doesn't want to walk in and get starfalled off, and will blink to the west TP out to avoid Sunstrike. In the meantime, Juan with the Untouchable is allowed Hao to right click away and pick up that Aegis. And yeah, we did see him die once, but seeing him die twice gonna be almost immeasurable feels.
It's gonna almost find the Earth Spirit. I feel like Hao has not really Omni Flashed at all in this game.
I don't think he has
one. Not sure if there's been any. If
I don't think he has
like maybe one or something like that. It wasn't spectacular if there was. He's gonna start in the mid tier 3 tower now. Sunstrike is that act like they'll immediately lose the Aegis. Jin Q is gonna completely crush the Juggernaut one more time. Where's the help here for Newbee? They're actually missing their Bat Rider because he's in the base. He has TP now up. It just cooled down, but the Aegis being expended for absolutely nothing. Turns out again, Axe Blade Mail, pretty good. Up against the Juggernaut, who's gone for a very glass cannon-y type build. He's got the Sange in his inventory. Outside of that, he has no survivability. So because they just waited all that time to get pretty much no gain for that Roach, maybe are gonna have to take a step back and DuoBao leave their base for a little longer. Look for that off before that high ground. But I mean, because this Juggernaut is so because he's gone for a and Battle Fury, it's gonna be 6 slotted in no time. So
Yeah.
it's kind of okay for Newbee to just sit back and farm a little bit.
Yeah, like as I said before, their draft is just a bit more forgiving in that sense, especially with a lead already. But in general, you're gonna have Moo behind that Batrider, so even if he jumped in lassos and it gets immediately false promised, as long as it's enough for Hao to get an Omni shot, win that fight, and he doesn't lose that Aegis. So it's just a little bit of overconfidence from Newbee. If they're able to stop up the call and therefore stop the blade mail damage from coming in, they should be. And smoke comes out, from the Radiant lineup. Is going to be popped by Wu. And he has a DD rune at this point. DuoBao scurrying off to the east to try and find someone farming up in the ancient area, but are unable to do so. And for now, will at least dodge death. They seen how with the full damage rune, I'm sure they wouldn't have looked to fight.
How badass does Hao look right now? The double damage rune, the static charge on him. You don't want to mess with that, guys.
Pay to
If you've
win,
never
boys.
played Dota before, you see that running at you,
Especially with the
way.
blood trail from the phase boots. Pay to win, boys.
Like actually getting into legit Marvel Juggernaut status right now, like Crimson Gem of Sidorak all up in this game. But Hao is an absolute monster at this stage, and Moo is actually going to catch someone still sticking around in this area. DQ going to try to teleport out, but Elasto's going to cancel that one. So actually, now you got to try to fight your way out of this with no crits here. Blade Mail's not going to do nearly as much versus a Slaughter and a Batrider, especially when the tower is just doing most of the damage there. So the Axe sticking around for a little bit too long as they get picked off. And Newbee still with this threat of the Batrider, something that DuoBao have to respect. But they get a big pick in the meantime. Invoker's going to grab himself a Sheep Stick, an instant response tool towards the Batrider should he not use the BKB. Of course, a Sheep Stick on the Juggernaut, open the door to kill him off, or at least set up something like an arrow, or maybe a better Earth. Oh, they're going to jump in, cancel the Rolling Boulder. The Juggernaut gets in the way. Big crit come off. Not going to fly back into this game. He has a pretty big opportunity now to jump onto Hao, but no, that opportunity is going to be gone quickly. The Shadow is there, but Newbee, they have 9 seconds to wait. That's about it. Or they go in, but Axe gets to go in first. Like there, Hao is killing himself. However, he will kill himself up against the Blade Mail. Everyone else is still firing pretty hard. Who's going to dive right in? That last refresh is going to cut the Invoker, break back in over towards the Slaughter with the right clicks there. They'll grab the Invoker kill. He does not have a buyback right now, and Chuan's doing a monster amount of damage. Blink dodge. The call's going to keep Kaka safe, and now the Spears going back into Axe, crushes there onto 2, will kill off the Axe. Lucian's going to jump into the middle of this fray. He's immediately going to decide better of it. He's going to leap out, but Oracle, he's going to use the Purifying Flame to kill off the Enchantress of Chuan. Now everyone else is going to try to bail out. Earth Spirit is back from the dead, but what can he do by himself? Not that much. This Axe has been all over the Juggernaut with his Blade Mail, and Newbee kind of get a delayed lasso there. They force out do they force out a buyback? They force out a buyback from the Axe, and he dies immediately afterwards. Numerically for Newbee, that's going to be an okay fight for them.
It still feels like Kaka and KP reactions were a little bit too delayed. Moo goes in initially with the lasso, but exactly the same story that happened to last time with Hao on the high ground. They really need to be here with the Blink Impale, Blink Hex, Blink Crush as well. Just stop the Axe from being able to continue or to call up Hao. I mean, he even if he gets the Omni Slash off with 20% HP, I feel like the fight is easily won thereafter for Newbee. So it just feels like a little bit late reaction from their part. I mean, even if you hex the Axe, Hao's still gonna be doing damage to himself, but can't be finished off by that Culling Blade. So it does feel like Newbee were a bit late reacting there, but either way, they force out the buyback. It feels like they're taking steps towards the end of the game regardless, and DuoBao almost just feels like they're holding on for not. Top lane, the arrow gonna bring down Moo TPing in. Hao gonna return here as well. Looking for heroes in the backlines is Kaka, and he may run into the Earth Spirit here. He'll drop down the Sentry Ward, and it's just gonna be out of the range for the Earth Spirit.
Kaka, Arrow is going to tag him, and with double stars, they'll drop him. They use Magnetize for that. Lion is super dead, but hey, doesn't matter really. Use spells, get kill. It is also the Moonlight Shadow used, and the cooldown is not really to be super quickly at this point, dropping down to 100 seconds cooldown at level 3. But Lion is going to take a soul the one way. I feel like they really just need to get a little bit of lifesteal on Hao, and then that'll solve almost all of those blade mail problems, or the vast majority of them. SNY perhaps replace down the line with the Satanic, and he'd still be able to do quite a bit of damage in that happen. But yeah, they don't really have many Gambit free cards here for Newbee, at least not versus an Act. You can try to mitigate his impact and try to get that Omni Slash off afterwards, but there's no immediate guaranteed safe way of getting a called Juggernaut out of there. So they lose the Lion. They'll still start looking for these pickoffs around the map. Moo has had this gem for like 10 minutes now, or something like that. So the Radiant side are flying completely blind. They are still slow sieging this mid lane, but they're not really getting that much success. They will get a pretty good angle though on DuoBao retreating from the top lane, as Batrider is now going to take to the skies. They're going to try to de-ward, but suddenly Blink Crush is there, going to catch the Oracle. They also grab the axe. There's no damage problem for now. How? He's going to survive. Yes, the Omnislash is going to go right towards the axe. False Promise is going to keep him alive for a little while longer. Going to try to teleport out of there. I think he will survive. No, he'll die. Pops in the face. False Promise indeed, and now Elon chased down with another Blink forward. They'll grab him with the Batrider and Slaughter. That's a 3 kill for Newbee. And though top lane is pushing out quite a bit by the Mirana, she can't kill towers, she can only kill creeps. Time for Newbee to at least push in mid lane to try to look for some buybacks. There will be no buybacks available here for DuoBao, so it looks like Newbee might just get a free mid lane here. House still has the Omni Slash, which I'm still pretty sure he hasn't used yet.
Yeah, he has.
But you know what? That's fine. There's no axe to worry about. There's EMPs and tornadoes and a whole bunch of unpleasant invoker things. Moo, he's off to the side. He's got a gem. His fire flied up and he's able to initiate. They're going to pop the Lincoln Sphere, which of course means there's nothing to protect her from this lasso, which is going to grab her. Crush is going to keep Invoker at bay. While they work down the Mirana, she's going to fall at the same time as the Invoker. She does have a buyback. But again, what can the Mirana do by herself? Double Starstorm's not going to do jack here because we got the little kitty cat healing Mort, healing everyone up. They're going to try to go for How, but that's going to be less than nothing. They blow up the Oracle, and now they catch Aeon with the Crush as well. He's going to take a Spear to the back, not quite dead just yet. But now that the Axe is up, Newbee are going to pay him for a second. Unless they get a free on the Axe, he's going to call on this one. Now finally the Omni Slash is used, and that'll dice the Axe bits. He just respawned. Juggernaut is going to blink straight down towards the bottom lane now. Newbee, they want a second set, and I don't think DuoBao can defend it. They're out of buybacks, they're bleeding heroes, and look at KP just chasing the Mirana out just by himself while STC pushes. I think this might be the end.
How holding that Omni Slash the entire game for the action. We'll get paid back for those couple of blade mail kills, but as we were kind of touching upon, even with these kind of willy pickoffs from DuoBao that were valuable and did help with the item progression, it just didn't feel like they would ever get to the point that Newbee were at. Newbee were just able to secure too good of a lead early on with the Blink Daggers from Batrider and from the Slaughter, and most of that facilitated by Chuan's early rotations in the laning stage. I mean, How had an absolute time. KP was able to get a kill on Axe as well, and they put pressure in towards the mid lane. So Newbee, a couple of shaky attempts at high ground, but overall very well executed in the team fights. Just those couple of times with the blade mail doing a little bit more damage perhaps than they anticipated. But Newbee, they have played a couple of series already today, so perhaps a little bit mentally drained. Either way, they could have taken this game a bit earlier, but they'll take it in 38 minutes, and they only need one more win here in SLI League 2 to punch their ticket through to Phase 3 alongside eHome, LGD, and Wings.
Alright guys, I'm Mike Loris, been joined by MRP Dota. We'll be right back for the second game between DuoBao and Newbee. We'll see if DuoBao can make that 2-win recovery to grab the series and hope crush Newbee at least. So we'll be right back for the second game in just a little bit.
Dire team ban.
I don't really think because of necessarily bad play from Team DuoBao, but mostly just overwhelmingly good play from Team Newbee, but maybe that's just semantics. I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by MRP for this second game. Mirana banned out, actually. Maybe Moonlight Shadow being a little too annoying for Newbee.
I mean, they spent a lot of gold on detection and wards early on, but their support still able to find a pretty absurd amount of farm. So not sure if it was just a little bit of an annoyance for Newbee, but definitely not the hero we're all that afraid of. In DuoBao left in game 1, and yeah, just to touch on your point, I don't think poor execution, but I do think that Chuan had much more of an impact in the early game than the Earth Spirit. The Earth Spirit got that one nice kill on the Bat Rider in the mid lane, but was still able to return to the jungle, find his farm in a decent time dagger. So did feel like the Earth Spirit a little bit low impact, and the Axe when did pick up the blink dagger, it was just tough for them to finally find initiation in Firefly Vision, and all the warding early on from Newbee was amazing for them as well.
Yeah, so keeping eyes up is going to be something that they have to do in general, but now specifically versus a Bat Rider as well. Newbee are now going to be the ones to grab the Oracle. I mean, it was a hard sell to have Oracle break those lassos, and Oracle was just never really in the right position, but it still in theory can be done, and you really do want to protect your lifestealer as much as possible. DuoBao getting the Bat Rider first pick up against a lifestealer is already a pretty good way to start out as a kind of counter. Lifestealer can kill targets very quickly, but sometimes Bat Rider is going to be fast enough to swoop in and save the day. Lion also reasonable, maybe not Bane levels of anti-lifestealer, but still can get the jump on lifestealer beforehand. So DuoBao with a very heavy single target focus are going to play Newbee's trap or play Newbee's style and see if they can find some success where Newbee found success. But again, Chuan's early game rotations, that was just crippling. See if DuoBao can perhaps get something similar on the board for them.
And they do leave, the aggressive rogue supports out there. I mean, yeah, Doom, Bounty Hunter taken out. Enchantress, though, Ricky's still available for Newbee if they want to run either of those. Oracle, Lifestealer, is actually pretty deep lane in terms of dual lanes. With the hold there, get a few right clicks off, the wounds on top of that, and then the rage. There is potential to kill off an offlaner. The Purifying Flames is often just enough nuke power at the end as well to bring down a few targets, a few different offlaner targets. So I feel like Newbee do have the freedom to still run this greedy roaming support. Yeah, as you mentioned, always really nice to see kind of copy and paste drafts come out from teams to see if they can execute as well as their counterparts did in the previous set. So we gonna have the Oracle for themselves. DuoBao have the same opening that Newbee had in game 1, and we'll see what differs in terms of how the DuoBao side moves with this combination as compared to how Newbee did in game 1.
They could easily make a kind of a switch up of having Bat Rider not in the mid lane, put him towards the off lane instead. Sure. Maybe not something you really are excited to do up against an Oracle Lifestealer, maybe +1 lane from Newbee, but just something very small like that, get a little bit more outright fighting strength out of that mid laner outside of just initiating power. It's going to switch up how DuoBao play compared to what Newbee ran in the last game, but Earth Spirit still available in the pool. Would be a pretty big pickup for either side, though Team DuoBao's Earth Spirit play last game, at least it was vastly overshadowed by the Enchantress. And again, like, he got a couple of rotations in, and it's not because, like, again, DuoBao were playing poorly, but it just seems like everything that they did, Newbee already completed. Like, every single item that DuoBao had is like, oh, Newbee already have that, or Newbee already killed your lane, they already got the gank off. It seems like DuoBao were just like, 30 seconds to a minute behind in the early game every single time, and that's just because Newbee were more assertive, and that's just the strength of Newbee, and it's maybe DuoBao's experience not necessarily up to par. Regardless, the Invoker and Alchemist for the mid lane are going to be banned out for the Newbee squad. Two heroes that can fare well situationally up against a Lifestealer down the line, but the mid lane selection is rather pared down right now. You can always go for a Puck for a Lifestealer. I think that seems not the best for Newbee, but you need some vehicle for him. Night Stalker, Lion, Bat Rider, it's a lot of control for DuoBao, but not that much scaling damage.
Yeah, they will offer the Chuan Enchantress here as well. We kind of talked the freedom they had to continue to run this aggressive support early on. And I think in this matchup, considering the Lion, considering the roaming Knights, and the Batrider, whichever off their DuoBao does present, the safe lane for Newbee will be the most likely destination for Chuan, but either way, the Oracle more than good enough to keep this lifestealer in fighting shape in the bottom lane. Can disarm the Night Stalker if he comes through with the Fate's Edict, and more often than not, that should be able to deter, any more further aggression. But it's an interesting pick. Night Stalker, Batrider. Hard to see you losing the vision role with those two heroes available to you for a DuoBao side. So they definitely have some recognition as to what the keys were to game one. Newbee, I think they're one of the teams that are really very good at not only shot calling but disengaging when the situation looks poor. So Night Stalker, Batrider, chase potential from both of them, vision. Psionic Trap's going to supplement that vision as well, so it makes it very difficult for Newbee to be able to extract themselves from poor scenarios.
So getting vision is one thing. Winning with that vision is quite another. Templar Assassin is going to be the hero. I would assume going to get a Desolator down the line and can lend some damage in towards the structures, get DuoBao an easier time towards Roshan. Of course, Scout Roshan as well with those Psionic Traps. Newbee seems like they're just going to try to brute force this. Axe, the pick that for DuoBao down the line worked out very, very well. Not nearly as strong versus Lion, Night Stalker, Batrider in that late game stage, and even in the early game stage, Axe may have some issues up against these heroes because you're just getting always poked down and not able to really land a call in a decent spot. So I do like DuoBao's lineup so far, as long as they, with their last pick, are able to apply even more pressure towards the structures of Newbee. Really, it kind of seems like that's the bare minimum right now. They have all this vision, they have all these ways of creating space. Now they just need someone who can make use of it. They could go late game, try to go for like a Spectre, or even Drow Ranger is not terrible here for the DuoBao side. So, just some sort of payoff here is what they need. And Newbee need to try to stomp this into the ground as soon as possible. Chuan's rotations, last game as the Enchantress, were good. He's gonna have to do it again.
I could see a Lycan pick coming up with DuoBao as well. I think that would work decent with them. He's another hero that can join up with the Night Stalker pretty quickly. He's a good matchup versus the Lifestealer as well. I think the one difference for Newbee's side picking up the Axe here is that they will have instant contribution coming out from the Lifestealer who can infest him, where last game with DuoBao they had to run the Invoker in, run the rest of the lineup in, kick or spells from afar in order to contribute on top of that Axe. And when we saw that Axe get worked on, it was really only him solo doing most of the work. So I feel like in that sense Newbee are in a bit of a better stance to ensure this Axe is effective. But I think DuoBao are a lot more comfortable with their draft in this game than perhaps they were in that game one. You mentioned them kind of getting cornered in with that Moran pick, probably initially picking for the safe lane, then relegating it to the offlane role later on in the draft. Feels like they have a lot more direction in this one straight up. And we'll go for some extra firepower in the Tinker here, but it is going to mean that the safe lane at least is be a little bit awkward at the TA.
I mean, tend to help the Templar Assassin 10 range 11 may not time. This is you don't great up Templar Tinker is one for man just and the
10 seconds remaining.
It protect their don't as far as is definitely
prepare for battle.
Good one can be that when the and destroy the storm spirit-esque. It's gonna be dagger that line. He a lot of roam around the map from was absolutely right now, and
yeah,
the more we can put away that so this is decent for Tinker, but and came so a little too early and he will.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a rough matchup for DuoBao in lane, but I think you should have a good time. Get active really early. I mean, it as well if you go for that. They will build in the you, however, definitely feel the march going to be get the depth of it. In that sense, if they're able to stack up some ancients for the TA, I think they can absorb the early game loss here because the Tinker can hold their strong for the next little while.
Well, there's it's going to be mid. I mean, they're really mid lane is tankable. It's maybe going to be a little bit late. Mid lane, ready? Down bottom, but run. Will up by the throw. Quite a bit of damage from not going lane of or oh.
It is tilting, is it? I find it very tilting as it.
It's really subtle. No.
Goodness, so already harassed here that they're gonna bring A1 to the lane to try and help out the TA. Perhaps Radiant do have some vision on the high ground. They are gonna be privy to his rotations and move play really far forward here. Boy, a lot of and Moo just trying to stop the TA from being able to last hit under the tower, which is already difficult enough. So should be able to garner a decent advantage in this lane. So far, first last hit there, couple last hits picked up by the TA, but Moo should have a good time. And yeah,
up there, under Chuan, yeah, big chance, they'll get killed. Treasure. Off, like land. He's dropped. Gonna spark the machine and actually start and it's only now to be in this one in the just 30 okay. Bye. He's a dong. Let's go. Oh, with the club. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Tinker is a great hero to accrue farm in a safe lane, but he's, you know, especially early on, not the greatest laner, and with the potency of the Chuan Enchantress coming through, this is going to be a really good start for KP. And, you know, meanwhile, on the other side, Batrider should be able to fare decent, but with a couple levels up in, onto Kaka's Oracle, if he oversteps his bounds and doesn't have Firefly available, there's definitely some kill scenarios here for safe lane dual lane from Newbee. So it feels like the early game should go really well from Newbee. I think a lot of this is on the back of the Tinker and the Batrider to be able to wait and keep their structures alive in order to pick the farm on the TA, the Batrider, and the Tinker. All will be able to jungle in some way, shape, or form.
And the life story right now of and not interfere that
mid.
Go ahead. But we'll have like Templar and they're good. Drop another one in Chuan. Leading this more than be a little extra tank as much as really, but having on guard at this stage. So far, experience from this early so they're gonna that exact line, even though Dolphin. Reservoir. Yeah, so
Dire's
That is
bottom tower is under attack.
5 for the Newbie team.
I mean, he comes through second phase as well. They want to secure that Fat Rider counter in first phase, and you know, I could bet my life savings that the next time these two teams face off, that there's no way Enchantress makes it through the second phase. I mean, yeah, there are certainly some strong heroes in the first phase that would run a ban over this Enchantress, but he has been way too much of an impact in both games so far. Involved 80% of the kills, and yeah, Q in a bit of trouble. A1 gonna out tower range now. He will pop the call to get that bit of extra armor, and should be okay to back off. Wait, it's up in a second though, and he has used his stick charge at this point, but you know, Tornado keeping him at bay. Q extremely low on the Tinker. The Tornado might even kill him off here, and the creep will be able to do it. Juan gets the he lasted as well. Wow, that feels bad for your safe laner. 6-0 start for Newbie here. Chuan, 5 of those 6 kills. So 83% roughly involved thus far in all of Newbie's aggression.
Chuan, I think right now. I'll kill that Tornado. Put it now. Thank you. Doesn't the help that one, and it's just solo thing, but it's an easy solo. It's fun. I was mentioning earlier. It's not fun. Also, this is not fun. Double and I don't think that he makes 2 of them. Like, don't want grab him. The kill top farm he could want, and John Mop. And his bottom line is it'll be very a couple heroes not elsewhere, but they see there.
Sonic Trap, AU1 rotating through. Nighttime is about to expire here shortly, so pressing forward now could be a little bit of a risk. And yeah, Newbie, they will take that mid lane tower as I mentioned, and if they're able to get this safe lane tower as well, I don't see there being a comeback scenario really for DuoBao aside from a miracle team fight.
Travel on CQ top lane. Maybe start some random
Dire's top tower
push
has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is
Dead.
under attack.
for sure. A little more for Newbee. I rock farm beat. So he'll
Dire's bottom
bet
tower has fallen.
they will lose. Let's do a friend to try to not die questions away. Right is far are there is going around as well. Death ultimate. No. They can easily for or the two X and guard. One button is pretty much ground.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Having-
attack.
They have nowhere to smoke up. They have the last thing. Actually, one. No, that's possible. It's pulling off at
It's daytime as well.
they drop. They're get some armor. They don't get you. You're gonna drag the hot. That's in the fire. Oh, it's out. Actually, can't. Oh, AP now. In the
You get nothing.
dumb.
Good day, sir.
From the Oracle, so maybe before
So
the
no
ban.
lasso, yeah.
Now it's not.
It's weird to see them smoke up during nighttime, and
Dire's
they
middle
definitely
tower
expected the
is
towers
under
to be just a, but it's like you can't keep them at both, but as long as you have a whole event. So it is very difficult for Newbie to fight regardless of how strong they are. They're not even needing for exorcism now for this because the lasso is down. They'll just look
Radiant's bottom tower
KP
is under attack.
cut away, excuse me, and be able to round this 2-2 with ease. So Newbie in one spot, it feels like a much larger advantage at this look at the net worth chart, and
Dire's
the
middle
only
tower
kind of
has
relevant core
fallen.
from DuoBao, the entire tri-core of Newbee is currently sitting above him by a good margin. And KP with that last dunk on Lion, even though he's off for the Vanguard, is looking at something like a 13-minute blink deck.
That's so neat. You should. I
Radiant's
grab
bottom tower
I-
is under attack.
by like he's and mine from stronger.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Nice,
Dire's top tower is under
Well, I don't
attack.
black back to just a
Radiant's
job
bottom tower
quick
is under attack.
board. Pretty much
Dire's top tower
One,
is
not
under
gonna
Dire's
be ended
top tower has
from
fallen.
the back. You have his I get really is and stuff and he's in a regular time. Be DuoBao to make an aggressive and to get a kill. He's beating. Not really necessarily in the you. Moo just wants to run. Not gonna be. Also, never lucky. Is pretty much gonna look down the jungle, and it Templar. No. Oh. Gonna find. Then to come out. Oh, one to see.
Still, it's very indicative of the state of the game at this point. There's only one outer tier tower remaining for the Dire side, and when you have a Bat Rider and a Night Stalker, you want to be able to have some form of map control. You want to be able to initiate the skirmishes, and it just doesn't feel like that's in the cards any longer for DuoBao. Newbee feel like they have full map control. They're perhaps going to lose this tier 1 top, but it doesn't feel like that'll ever happen without trades. At least the Roshan, if not this tier 2 in the bottom lane, is going to be heavily damaged, and KP is going to look to deal with top lane now well. So the Newbee may just get a 2-for-1 deal when all is said and done, as they see more than just Tinker. They can expend this Exorcism bottom, and likely will not be contested under this last outer tier tower of DuoBao.
Dire's
Those
bottom
to get
tower is under attack.
So the most Tony's gonna be in X and look
Dire's
the
bottom tower is under
go straight to the line by the Oracle, and they will use that group. You're attacking bot.
Radiant's middle
Top
tower
here.
is under
Get
attack.
a lion kill and make it on top of Kaka and see to make that Newbee. They're gonna smoke. Have it. Air. They don't use there. It's wart. Like or no. Hit. They actually shot just tag. T for 10 seconds. Smoke it right. And they do.
It's a bit of a risky play without your axe all that nearby. The Oracle top lane as well, so Newbee again, he's trying not to see their advantage, but the call again, time is going to be found. They may bring down Moo, but he gets the Eul Scepter off, and while the Tinker was controlled up, could not first down the death from the Tinker. That's going to come through. AP still surviving on this axe, but they should be able to chase him down, it being nighttime. Now how though, he's returned to the fray. KP going to get a little bit extra armor. The Urn Tick will end up finishing him off. How though, in the backlines, is going to take out the Lion under the cover of Rage, and now the TP's out from the T, and the Night Stalker will be successful. Ends up 3 for 2. It's a big couple of kills for DuoBao, and they do get quite a bit of gold. They end up with net more than barely more experience, but still feels like Newbee on pace here. They don't use the Exorcism in that fight as well, so as soon as they are back onto Moo, it feels like they can look to take Roshan as Hal is in this top or bottom lane.
Greedy there. Okay. What I had to say is with the follow up, though the has that blow. But they open exactly like for all it was stop. Try to what too much damage is one again on the deck. Skin they last in theory they should pop. Okay, but the damage is don't they're ready just so stick on but
that's very tough to stay to the Tinch Man top lane, and you touched upon it very early on. That is the only thing that's going to open the window for them to go high ground, is being able to pick up. They do pick up on K-Rune unfortunately after the usage of Exorcism, and Exorcism will expire now, so it looks like Roche going to be a bit of a perilous attempt for DuoBao. They are against both a Tinker and a Rider, but either way, as you mentioned, they get back on the DuoBao side. They will find a lasso, but it's onto a invested agent, and this is interesting. So, yeah, from how.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They get the lasso out.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Quite. Yep.
Radiant's
Root
top
forward.
tower is falling.
There's most of the threat of Bat Rider in
Yeah.
I did count though. They
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
top plan for that is now the Riders back go. It's the here. I don't see after
Radiant's top
coming
tower is under attack.
after now. Kill! Grab up. Hearing gold in the is there.
Is under attack.
Yeah.
They
TA though mid lane may be found out here as KP looking to chase her down. High ground vision though. Keep her safe for now it seems, and she will be able to TP out. So KP unfortunate there, but yeah, either way, it's you don't blame DuoBao for making that play at all. Even if they just die on the Bat Rider, they have enough to play out with the Tinker, and just bowing out and giving Newbee that Aegis gold experience and the Aegis of the Immortal for free is going to be pretty much a death sentence. So definitely a nice play to make for Fusheng, and gets himself a little bit of experience and a little bit of gold to come in for the team as well. But, Newbee, they're hitting their bigger item timings. They've got the Mac on the Oracle. The Aghanims is going to come out soon for the Enchantress as well. It feels like Hal probably has another item on the way, but he did complete up that SNY. Blade Mail going to be here from KP. We saw how much work that did, and Newbee we're certainly aware of how much work that Blade Mail did in game 1. So they're definitely fit to fight, and they will use the Exorcism here mid lane. Not sure if they had the last bit of that Arcane Rune. It seems like they did. KP going to jump forward with Hal inside of him. They are going to get the impale onto Hal, and they'll have to force the False Promise on him. Can't heal him up though. They have the mechanism there as well, so Hal should be just fine underneath this False Promise, and they'll take out the Q3. You're looking to press forward for a little bit more. The Mr. Spam is going to come out with the Aegis though. And this kind of siege engine and move in the front lines as well. Going to drop a silence, half attack Dual Scepter. So the first racks will go down just sub 20 minutes here, and with the Exorcism expiring, the range rack not all that important here, but KP is going to fake back, calls on 2. Fusheng's going to be ducked up. Ayuan going to be ducked as well. Beautifully played by KP. Have the silence on top of this Dual Scepter. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. 3 on the sidelines, none of which who have buyback. How do you stop the push now? No outer tier towers available. On the sidelines for 40 seconds, and Gold will realize exactly that fact. Newbee with a nice fake back to end things in this best
Love game. That's what I love. I did items, but you're not. That's was bad. He's put racks his take him a damn. Which he didn't have to because sounds like even and as you see here, interest. You I think this was one big